it's over to you.
Our next guest stole our heart as Will in Will and Grace nearly 30 years ago and has been lighting up our screens ever since. His new series, 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue, is available to watch now on BBC iPlayer, so please welcome the atmospheric, never generic Eric McCormack!
Let's do it, Eric! All right, come on! It's only actual Eric McCormack. Thanks for coming back, Eric.
Atmospheric, I like that.
Come on. You've been here before, so either you've forgotten or you actually enjoyed coming here, so you've come back again.
I have nothing but pleasant memories of it, Chris.
I won't worry about the stumble there, it's fine. Eric, this show, man, is so good.
I'm so glad you watched the whole thing. It's
9
great.
Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. The reviews are off the chart. So The Guardian never gives anything 5 stars.
I'm hoping it's not an ironic 5 stars, but because it's a lot of fun. As dire as the circumstances are,
yeah.
I mean, it's actually a roller coaster.
I think there's so many clever things about it. First of all, why don't we frame what it is? All right, so let's talk about you describe who do you play, who else is in it, and why are there 9 bodies in a Mexican morgue?
Well, exactly. It's a small aircraft flying over Mexico, goes down, only one death, and yet when the bodies are found, they're all dead. So we flash back over the week that it took for one by one the bodies to die.
Yeah.
And who's doing it? Why is it happening?
Yeah.
Are they killing each other to survive? Or is there something more nefarious at work?
And it starts off, it's a stable show. It's a solid show. But it's nothing extraordinary when it begins, this programme, halfway through episode 1. But then you look, well, Anthony Horowitz has written it. So there must be something else going on here. And he's setting us up for a fall or several falls. Now, I watched all of them yesterday, so I know what happens. And so I can spoil this, and I'm trying not to spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
I know, I won't spoil it, I promise you. It's just like, I had no idea.
That's good.
What was going to... I mean, literally zero idea.
As Anthony always likes to say, it's not a whodunit, it's a why-done-it. When you figure out why these things are happening, it does take a real turn.
Clever. All right, okay. So where was your jungle, and what did you learn? How long did you hang out with your co-stars for? What went on? Just give us all the juice.
Well, we all landed early last summer in the Canary Islands, which have no jungles of any kind. It's dry, and so they had to build a jungle within a studio. I don't know how much of that you could tell, but it's a totally man-made jungle, which was really fun, but also very strange. At first, we had to be reminded, hit your arms when you have a mosquito, because there were no real mosquitoes. But within a month, it was an ecosystem, and you really were constantly screaming at finding spiders and snakes.
Oh, so because you built the right environment, the right thing started to...
It started to grow. It started to grow like Little Shop of Horrors.
That's so cool.
But the real acting part came in that we loved each other. Sight unseen, we loved each other. We were having the greatest time that first week. But the characters are supposed to hate each other. No trust. There's just nothing but animosity and suspicion. So we had to sort of remind ourselves, right, I don't like that guy. Like Siobhan McSweeney and I just became fast mates, and yet we despise each other on camera. So it's
so your character is a doctor. Mm-hmm. There's a supposed insurance salesman in there as well.
That's right.
There's a couple of singletons. There's a newly married couple who accidentally got married in Las Vegas.
Right.
And she is the daughter of somebody really rich and successful.
Lee, yeah.
And she didn't really fall in love with her chauffeur, but somehow ended up marrying her chauffeur. And then there's an older couple who are big MAGA. They've got a hotel, and they give discount to MAGA supporters.
Yeah, that's Siobhan.
It's all going on, isn't it?
Yeah, there are a lot of characters that just don't. At first, they don't give a lot up. Yeah. And it's hard to even figure out why. Like, why will nobody reveal their last name? Or why they were flying to Guatemala?
What's in the suitcase?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A mysterious suitcase.
Oh, my gosh. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And the fact that we know that 9 people die, but guess how many were on the plane? And it starts, the whole show starts in Mexico, wherever the morgue is, with the are they militia, or is it the military? Or
yeah, it's the military.
So it is the military, and they've got this thing going on with the morgue, and I don't know how much more to say.
I think it's about it. It's the fun thing is, as you start to realize the first images you see are of bodies in body bags, and they're all there, and you think, well, what's the mystery? Just check them out. But once they do, they realize that it's not so easily identifiable.
It's no spoiler to say that your character is a doctor. He's no longer a doctor because something happened whilst he was a doctor, and then something happens to the pilot. I think it's all right to say all this stuff because this is before the twists, isn't it?
Right. There was a malpractice thing, and he lost his
livelihood,
practice.
his wife, his family.
Yeah.
And then he's called upon to operate on the pilot to save his life in the jungle.
Right.
And he says, I'm not going to do that because he'll die. And everybody else says, well, he's going to die anyway. And then you say, well, your character says, well, I can't do it. I haven't got a scalpel. And then somebody brings out the MAGA supporter brings out this massive knife.
Yeah.
And off you go. And you do talk, your character does talk very eloquently about why he can't perform the thing. There's a collapsed lung and those kind of stuff. Did you take any of that on board? Via osmosis, could you help me out now in a medical emergency?
No, I could talk a good game, Chris, but you'd still die.
Have you learned anything in your various roles over the years that you've taken into real life?
Well, I'm better at being gay now than I was, 11 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I did take I played a neuroscience professor who was living with schizophrenia in a show called Perception years ago. And that one I had to take very seriously. I had monologues and lectures that I couldn't just mimic.
It's funny because you do a bit of that in episode 1 when you're explaining why you can't operate on the guy.
Yeah.
And I thought, this seems to come to... I know you're a brilliant actor, I know all that. But that dialogue seemed to come to you quite easily. And now you're talking about the other scientific dialogue. Do you have that kind of mind?
I did. I certainly did. I don't know. It gets harder with every passing year. But I do love to memorize things. I always thought that was the height.
Do you have quite a binary black and white kind of...
I do. And just the sheer repetition of it.
Yeah.
When we shot Perception, I would sometimes it would be lecture day because we'd have to shoot everything on that one set.
And you were
that
fine
day.
with that.
And I would do 4 lectures that I'd learned all weekend, and I kind of loved it.
Were you tempted to just go and lecture somewhere for real?
A little bit, yeah.
Just roll it all out. As long as you didn't stick around for the Q&A, you'd be fine.
Yes, exactly. No actual questions, please. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
So this is a mega series. It's one of the. It's like we said it's like something. It's like White Lotus meets Breaking Bad meets Ozark.
Love that.
All the usual great suspects with a bit of Death in Paradise that we have here in the UK. I don't know if you've seen that show.
Not yet. No.
It's not cozy crime. There's something else. It's not. There's nothing cozy about this crime.
Right.
But it's wonky. Do you know what I mean? It's a wonky thing. Like White Lotus is wonky. Wonky's good, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's funny. There's some weird irony to it as well.
And it's unpredictable. I mean, that's the nice thing about it.
How many mega series have you been offered, and why? And how do you know which one to pick?
I've done a couple of a show called Slasher, which is sort of an anthology series, horror show, but different cast every series that I had a great time with because I played just a real both times.
Yeah.
Which is the most fun. This one, the offer began with Canary Islands, so you don't say no.
Getting paid, yes.
Getting paid in the Canary Islands.
Okay, that's good so far. Good.
But also this cast.
It's not a no.
It's an all UK Irish cast with some Spanish talent in there. I mean, I was the one lone Canadian guy.
Yeah.
And
when did you wrap?
When did we wrap? A year ago, August.
It's the funny thing, isn't it?
Waiting for this to come out.
It's the funny thing, because this is somewhere between what you used to do for a living and movies. It's in between, is it? Because it's longer than a sitcom, but it's not quite as long as making a movie.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And it's interesting because I was looking at all the guest stars that have been on Will and Grace, and it's a pretty decent roll call, isn't it?
Yes, a retinue of scoundrels.
I know. And then we were looking at Friends and the guest stars that have been on Friends. And then we were looking when a movie star lands on a sitcom set and they can't wait to be there because it was a rite of passage, wasn't it? To be asked to be on Will and Grace was a thing. It became a thing, didn't it?
It became a thing where they would call us.
Yeah.
That was the crazy thing.
Their agents would call. They would call. Your friends would call.
Yeah, we had Michael Douglas and
Madonna,
Matt Damon.
Britney Britney Spears?
I got Manilow and Elton John on just because of personal friendships. So you got to come on and play, because that's what it felt like. It felt like coming to...
And they can't wait to come on. And then suddenly, when they arrive, because it's a bit of fun, and they know you and they love the show, and then they arrive and they think, oh my goodness me, this is like a polished up. And then they begin to get nervous, I would imagine, some of them, especially the movie stars, because sitcoms are so quick compared to the movies.
Yeah. It's certain actors became, like Michael Douglas, who became very serious. I tried to get him to crack all week long,
right?
And he wouldn't, because he had a job to do.
Yeah, and he delivered.
I was not going to break him up,
because comedy is a serious business.
I know. Manilow had one line as himself, and we stood there. He'd already been introduced to the audience. They were already excited. They could see him standing over there, and he had a coffee in his hand, and he said, "I don't know how you do this every week." I said, "You're Barry Manilow. What? This is nothing. I play Barry Manilow in my bedroom every other day. What do you?"
It's so funny though, isn't it? Because I get it completely. And it's when you go make movies and it's slower, and people say, I've got an iPhone 7. Not 17, iPhone 7. And when I look at a more modern iPhone now, I can't cope with the speed of it. Yeah. Because I like my lag. That's what's going on there. Jennifer Lopez enjoyed it so much she came back a couple of times.
She did.
Yeah. And did some guests come on the show and secretly wanted to be so good they might get sort of enrolled?
Well, someone like Jeff Goldblum came on, playing a character. I thought it was a one-off, but he was so funny and so odd that they just had to keep writing for him, and he kept saying, "I'm available." So the next thing you know, he became a semi-regular. We loved when they'd come back.
And Tom Selleck, because Tom Selleck did the same thing in Friends, didn't he? But he was so good. He was in countless episodes in the end. Did you when you have a big hit like that, a big fat hit like that goes on for years and is box fresh right until the end, because that's the secret, isn't it? And then it comes back, one of the most successful reboots of all time, which was like yesterday almost, 2020. When you get that and it becomes the whole world's watching, almost like Wimbledon, but every week the whole world's watching what you do. Do you know what I mean? Is it like, and then these people come in and out. Are you aware of the party that's taking place? Are you aware of the fact that it's so special and so rare? Do you get that, or because you're in it, you just don't see it, or does it matter?
That's a really good question, because yes, I never stopped being aware of what Lucky, particularly the reboot, where it's like, this does not happen. It doesn't happen that a show comes back so strong, still feeling like the same show and not some offshoot. We were the same show, but there were times and certain elements where people were forgetting just how blessed we were to have, particularly in this day and age. So the one thing that always made it clear to us was shoot night. When we would come out, that curtain would rise, because we did a real sort of, and like rock stars, we'd come out and the 250 people in our crowd would go bananas, because we were characters from a TV show that they've been watching for 10 years. And there we were in person, and they could practically touch us, and we would dance and act silly. And that was always the thing, week after week, where I'd go, I'll never have this again. This will never feel like this.
So you were mindful enough to realize that?
Yeah,
absolutely. How come you were present enough to realize that?
I think it was, I was a little older. I mean, Megan's a little older than me, but I was the oldest. I was older than Sean and Deborah. And I think there was just a sense of, guys, this is not always going to be there for us, and not all jobs are going to feel like this.
You're smiling when you're talking about it.
Oh, it was great. It was great. And
did you learn from other mega sitcoms? Did you talk to other people who were in Friends or Seinfeld or whatever?
Well, yes and no. Yes, in that Jimmy Burrows, who directed every single one of the Will and Grace episodes, he had directed the first 12, I think, of Friends, and he left. And they wanted him back. The kids on Friends wanted him back, but he said he just wasn't having any fun, because the producers of Friends apparently they worked longer hours, and they cracked the whip a little more.
Factory.
And Jimmy knew he wanted a different atmosphere, something that was always light, and that's what we maintained. And And then there was nothing better than making Jimmy Burrows laugh.
Mate, I'm so... I know it sounds so silly to say this, but I'm so happy for you that you were in that show. Because it's like doing this show every day. Because, I've been around the block, I've made mistakes, I've had the highs, I've had the lows, and now the sun is shining, I'm talking to you, we're playing some rock and roll music, I'm working with my friends, I got a coffee in my hand. It doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Exactly right.
This is my will and grace, It's great. I've got, goosebumps just talking about it. Isn't it great? Isn't life wonderful?
It is.
Eric, tell us more about Nine Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. Did you go to screenings? Were there test screenings? How does it all work nowadays?
Well, the show was made first and foremost for MGM Plus, which is a streaming service in America that no one gets.
Right.
No one.
Okay.
So I would go on trying to
That's
promote.
Not a very good idea.
It's a terrible idea. I'd go and try to promote the show.
Okay.
When really, the question was always, I'm sorry, where do I watch it?
Yeah.
Because in the end, I'm promoting MGM Plus, and the guy that runs it, he's a wonderful man named Michael Wright, and I just kept saying, Michael, how do we get more people? We need billboards.
Yeah.
We need something.
Ice. Yeah.
Didn't really happen, but we've all been looking forward 6 months later to the BBC launch because you guys just have an audience that is hungry. So. I'm delighted to have been here.
And you can re-hit elsewhere, can't you?
I think it can.
Well, this has happened before, hasn't it? Things have not landed necessarily or caught light necessarily in their place of origin. They go and catch light somewhere else, and then they go back, and everybody thinks it's the first time it's happened, and they watch it there, and it works anyhow.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the end, but I can't. I can ask you off the air about the end, but I can't ask you about the end now.
Yes, we got to keep the secret, Chris.
I know.
Got to keep the secret.
So basically, to recap, if you just tuned in, Eric is in this new show. It's on BBC iPlayer. All 6 episodes are available after the initial broadcast last week. I watched all 6 yesterday. 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. There's a who done it. There's a why did they do it? Who might not have done it? But in an Agatha Christie kind of way, via Anthony Horowitz. You start with a gang of people, and they keep getting knocked off one by one. I mean, that's the point. So it's not only is it a whodunit, but it's a who's next as well.
It's a who's next, absolutely.
It's a who's next and a whodunit at the same time.
Indeed.
We have Gary Oldman on the show tomorrow.
That's very exciting.
It's really, really exciting. And it's especially exciting. It's exciting plus. It's exciting 1000x. Do you know why it's more exciting than normal?
Than even me. Why?
Because he's being knighted today. So
I
it's
did
going to
not
be
know that.
At Windsor Castle by the King. What a laugh!
That's great.
He's on the show tomorrow as Sir Gary Oldman.
That's good. I only met him once.
Yes.
I only met him once. It was because our kids were both at the same preschool.
Okay.
I don't think of the same year or whatever. But so I only met him one day. It was just at the end of the school year. And I wanted to say something. He looked up at me and he said, "Best series finale ever." And I went, "Really?" He said, "Best, absolutely." And just the fact that he'd watched the end of Will and Grace, this would have been 2006, was like, wow, Gary Oldman watched me on TV. I love that.
Future Knight of the Realm.
Future Knight of the Realm.
It's funny that we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago about the final. Because it wasn't a series. You're talking about the whole thing. It's show finale, isn't it? Show finale. We're talking about Sopranos and Breaking Bad and whether something pays off.
Yes.
And we were saying, so often now, because everybody's got a voice, now so many fans are so disappointed with the final show that they sort of forget, hang on a minute, this has given you 6 years of entertainment. How do you think they were going to pay off? It's 6 years worth at 22 eps a year, so that's 140 odd episodes against one. And the one is just the tying of the bow around the box, the gift box.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how it pays off. Just be grateful for what happened before. So how come your final was so good? How come it was so well received? Was it what people wanted?
Well, the end of Will and Grace 2006 was not what everybody wanted. We liked it. We liked the notion of there was a bit where you see what appears to be a flashback of she and I bumping into each other at college. She's got the red hair, and we turn around. Oh, I'm sorry. It seems like a meet cute. And we say we'll keep in touch, and just before they go into the rooms, they introduce themselves, and the names they give are not Will and Grace. It's the names of our children. And we realize that that's our kids bumping into each other in the future. And we come around. We haven't seen each other in 20 years. And there we are, Will and Grace at 65. And we always thought it was really clever. And there was this great gasp from the audience. But a lot of people thought it didn't work. So when we got to the reboot, that one we gave a really nice ending to, kind of that last moment where I sort of leave the apartment and turn off the lights, and it was closure for people.
Yeah, I remember it well. The light, the metaphor of the light turning off. I mean, that's sort of brought the tears. But listen, it doesn't matter what everybody else thought about 2006. Gary Oldman thought it was amazing.
I know, best ever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because Future Night at the Realm, still Future Night at the Realm, soon to be present and post Night at the Realm, Gary Oldman thought it was amazing. So Eric's on to talk about Nine Bodies in a Mexican Morgue. It's out now. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. The Guardian gave it 5 stars and said this is your next must-watch TV show. Ridiculous.
Love that.
Well done, mate. Well done to you and your pals. I'm tempted to say, if you wrapped this a year and a bit ago, what have you been doing since? But I don't want to tempt the fate of a spoiler, because depending on what you say to that, your response to that might be, I don't know, it might affect people's enjoyment of this show.
Oh, I don't think it will. Actually, it's a great story. A number of things over the last year, but what happened just before I came to London was an episode of something for NBC called The Hunting Party, serial killer of the week, and I was offered the Hannibal Lecter-y kind of role. And I said, yes, great. I got on a Zoom with the producers. I said to them, do I play myself in these flashbacks, or are you getting somebody younger? They said, no, it wouldn't be you. I said, okay, great. Well, I should meet him. I should meet whoever's playing me. And they said, yeah, we have some options. But what would you think about putting your son on tape? Wow. And I said, my son's not an actor. He's done some. They said, we just have a thought. So at noon on a Friday, several Fridays ago, I put him on tape saying these few lines and these few scenes. And at 3 o'clock that same day, he had the job. And he got his first professional Screen Actors Guild job playing young me in this show we shot in Brooklyn. And it was heaven. It was just heaven.
So you went to work. It was take your son to work day.
It was take your son to work day and
funny.
Kill women together. He just was amazing. They loved his dailies, and so and it was just exciting to work through stuff together like that.
Did you ever think, not in a million years?
No.
So what was your son doing? What if he's not an actor?
He's a musician mostly,
right.
And he's done a little acting, but he never. Whatever acting he's done was not through me. He didn't look at my career and come onto the set of Will and Grace and go, "This is what I want."
Yeah.
He almost rejected it. So this was just a great adventure.
Another smile.
Yeah.
You're in a smiling mood today, Eric. It's great to see you, man.
Great to see you.
It's a great
Chris.
show. Can we hear it for Eric McCormack, if you don't mind, please? Thank you. 9 Bodies and a Mexican Morgue is out now on BBC iPlayer, and you will not be disappointed.
Virgin Radio.